I wanted to share on some customer service in the death care space, customer service in the funeral space. I'm a 13-year death care space front side individual. I spent the last couple of years as a vendor to the industry. So 15 years and spent a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of study. I've been in a whole lot of meetings. So I kind of know the space, particularly the African American space. But here are some statistics that are not that charming, done by a reputable organization as of recent, targeting customer service in the death care space. Said that 37% of consumers say what they were they were educated about their options. 37%. That means 63% were not. The ratings of honesty and professionals in the industry have steadily declined since 2021. Problems that are noted are poor communication, pricing confusion, lack of transparency, and above all, customer service. One of the things I used to ask early on, because I was on the cemetery side, but before you discredit me, all of my greatest mentors were funeral directors that were legends. Some of them have passed away, but I learned a whole lot from them. And then I learned a ton on the cemetery side. Customer service wise, I used to always ask a question a couple months out. And I'd ask the family that I interred on the cemetery side, I'd ask them, have you heard from your funeral director? No, not since I got my death certificate. Look, folks, it doesn't take some follow-up program, some aftercare program. If you want to separate yourself from the rest of the also-rans in the funeral industry, you need to just, how are you doing call? Or I just thought about you. What happened to the just checking on you call? Believe it or not, I make those calls from the most sincere place in my heart. And every now and then, they say, you know, I had a friend over at lunch. He was talking about planning. That's pretty neat. Or, Steve, this lady at my job, she just lost her husband. I'm going to call her and tell her. And more than not, sometimes being thoughtful on the front side got me paid on the back side. Not that you do it for that, but you got to be funeral service. I was taught by the best of the best, and they taught me this, that it's a sacred thing. Well, with the advent of some of the large chains, some of the younger directors coming into business, all of a sudden what used to be a sacred thing is a just do it any kind of way thing. But if you want results that causes your business to rise, results that causes your income to rise, you gotta be that different funeral professional. You gotta be that different death care professional. My goal when I sat with anyone in the death care space is to become a member of their family or one of their best friends on that day. I didn't open relationships too quick because my whole concern their first day was to serve them. And number two, to listen to them. I know we think that the best talkers in the business get all the business, but believe it or not, the folks that use these two things more are going to be greats in the death care space. You should talk half as much as you listen because they're jumble and all of these different packages and different ways to skin a cat and everything. Edmund Ford told me that the late N.J. Ford had a saying. He said, you serve to serve again. You can't do anything about that guy across town that has 30 years of work with families. You got to get them one at a time. You serve, and if you are good, you'll serve again. But every now and then, you'll get somebody that has death after death after death after death, and everybody on their street, death after death, and everybody just serve to serve again. You won't get there overnight. The best directors don't get there overnight. They spend time. They follow up. Please call these families. You're not a guy. I know you got a brand new weak families. But how dare you have that family with all them 16, 17 family cars, as rare as that is in this nowadays. And maybe they bought the Promethean, and here they are. After all their insurance money is settled and everything is done, and ain't nobody calling them about a death anymore, and you got them. Boy, they gonna think about you and they gonna kill your name. Sometimes what you make in a rush, in a hush, while the people are totally crazy because of a death, will come back and bite you. It's better to be the deliberate funeral professional, the explaining thing funeral professional, the person that tells them, I wish I could do that, but that's not what we do here. And if that's what you want, then I'd be happy to release you to another funeral home. Look, if you know that those folks want to cremate and Junebug and Mary and Little Mary don't ever want to cremate, don't you allow somebody to impersonate Junebug and Little Mary and sign some papers and do it. It's better to make it quick. Better to make it long and hard and patient than to find quick fixes. Sometimes all these big funeral services that everybody in town is running after can sometimes be the least profitable. It's that family that you didn't pay any attention to, that 4 people came to the graveside, that can bless your life sometimes. Look, stop. It's customer service. It's all about them, and it's not about you. If you want to be great in the death care space, I think I'm going to start consulting in the space. I am. There are far too many funeral directors that selling and customer service isn't their forte. They can do everything in the funeral home space perfectly, but the other piece, the communications piece, the people piece, is not their strong suit. And the business is about people. You can't get around that. There's a person attached to every dollar that you make as a funeral professional. So please, don't try to make the dollar and forget about the person. I'm going to say that again. Don't try to make the dollar and forget about the person. If you want to be great in the funeral home space, in the death care space, because I ran a cemetery, so I had these big funeral homes that came in. We're going to block you. I talked to all the directors at my funeral home, and we decided that we're no longer going to use your cemetery. We're going to block you, because some directors get into the blocking business. I said, okay, you're going to block me? I tell you what, I'm just going to go to work and hit these streets and sell so many pre-need that if I bury the husband, mama going to come and lay by the husband. I'm going to sell. I'm going to go work churches. I'm going to work twice as hard as you do, because a whole lot of funeral directors may be great, but they're great because of the owner's name. They don't necessarily work hard anymore, work earnestly for the customers' pull up. I'm not hitting funeral directors, but there's a difference made. A good funeral director doesn't always try to win only. You can't be the only person in the room that wins. Everybody needs to win for your family to win. And yes, sometimes that means the cemetery needs to win also. So look, if we want to be great, we got to change this tide of funeral service. You don't want a funeral director to be thought as a used car salesman. I've been both. But look, if you want to be great in this space, please follow up and please attend the customer service, because the next separate the men from the boys in the business and the girls from the women. If you want to be great, make it about them and not about you. Be blessed.